Okay, so Jason, back when the Wii U was Nintendo's main console and things weren't looking too hot, every single day it felt like you would see a post or a video or some news article suggesting that Nintendoomed. Like, it's over.
Nintendo should just make phone games from now on.
Yeah, they should become a third party. They should
Yeah.
stop making consoles. And it goes up and it, like, you know, because there was that huge peak with the Wii and then it went right back and then it sunk even further. And it just felt like they were behind their competitors. I was never a Nintendoomer. I never looked at Nintendo and thought, like, oh, they're really in trouble, because they had so much, like, banked, and I really trusted who they had at the lead. I thought Iwata was going to make it right, and he did.
Exactly.
You know? He did. Now, I want to bring this Nintendoomed thing back from the grave, because I never felt it before, and this seems silly, but I kind of feel it now.
You mean like 5 years in the future, we might look back and be like, you know, this was kind of a turning point.
I think so. I think I think Nintendo will still be around in 5 years. Obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously we're not predicting the demise of the entire company,
but no, I think that some serious shifts have already happened, and I think that I don't have faith in their current leadership. I don't think Furukawa is a good leader for Nintendo. I think he's just too much of a numbers guy, and he doesn't inspire anything. And I think it shows in the products they've been putting out. It shows in the games. Their games are full of features, but they lack, like, the cohesion that I'm used to from the first party experiences. And the staying power and the replayability. I'm just, like, not as interested in these games that are coming out.
Well, as long as they still have Sakurai sitting there ready to make his next banger, I think we're still going to be okay.
Yeah, Kirby Air Riders is going to be the one shining blip in this downward spiral of Nintendo. No, so I don't think people talk about what could be potentially going wrong when it feels like they're doing so well. First of all, like, they just had their fastest selling console of all time, but as you and I have observed, there's no hype. We just had a 60-minute longest direct ever. And day two, because we're filming this right now, it's 12:53 a.m. Sunday, September 14th. It's really the 13th. We're a day removed from the direct, basically, and there's no hype. No one cares. The highlight for me was a Fire Emblem game that's going to sell pretty well and probably review well and hopefully be good. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. But I don't know what's going on over there. We just did a segment yesterday about the real value of Nintendo games. And we went on eBay, we looked at the prices of games in the secondhand market, and we noted that unlike in a prior generation, the Switch, unlike the Wii U, unlike the 3DS, all that stuff, a Nintendo first party game is selling for considerably less than MSRP.
Yeah. First time ever.
I think that, like, that's a sign. That's a signal. I look at that and I think people aren't valuing these Nintendo first party games as highly as they did in the past. And I think that it might be an indicator that their quality is of a different, it's a different standard now.
They just withheld content from a Donkey Kong game to release it as paid DLC a month later.
Yeah. The other piece of this puzzle is gamer malpractice.
Yeah, we've been getting bled in ways that we hadn't been getting from Nintendo recently.
Right. I mean, for the longest time, with Iwata at the helm, everyone would praise, like, hey, Nintendo's still doing it the old way. Yeah. Nintendo's still doing it right.
Well, Nintendo was always like, you know, long-term growth over, like, short-term gains, and it feels like a lot of moves that they've been making have not been to that end. Yeah,
there's this thing with drinking where there's a saying that when you drink a lot of alcohol and you start to feel tipsy and you start to feel good, you are, quote, borrowing happiness from tomorrow. Nintendo is borrowing happiness from tomorrow. I think they're gonna feel it, because, like, I can only be burned personally so many times by big releases and slapped in the face before I'm just done.
Sure.
And you know, their track record's not great for me personally right now. I'm beating a dead horse, but I've talked for anyone who doesn't know, their last few big games have not hit for me. I didn't really like Mario Wonder, even though I was really looking forward to it. I didn't really like Tears of the Kingdom. Donkey Kong Bonanza was okay. And Mario Kart World has a lot of things I like about it, but Nintendo's decision to not let me play 3 laps has really prevented me from playing any more of it, honestly. I haven't really touched it because I can't play Mario Kart. I have to race in a big dumb straight line forever. And
I think Nintendo needs to find their way out of their open world era before they're really gonna like innovate again, right?
it's so sad. It's like,
So Nintendo got pretty formulaic with like Mario and Zelda and stuff in the like late 2000s, mid 2000s into like the 2010s before they made it fresh again. And I feel like we're in another era of sterility with their stuff.
They're sitting pretty uncomfortable right now, and their games are suffering.
Sure.
It's also another indicator that we did briefly mention was Donkey Kong Bonanza now has a free demo. I think it's safe to say that this game is selling below expectations.
Yeah.
And
Question, do you consider Metroid Prime 4 to be a big game?
At this point in time, I do not.
Me either.
It should have been, but it's not.
No,
the thing is also Nintendo has forgotten an unbelievably important principle when it comes to long-term sustained success in gaming. They have forgotten the importance of clout. They have forgotten the importance of investing in games and franchises that are not the biggest sellers.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
It took a while to build that. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking more like, look at Bloodborne. People still don't shut up about Bloodborne, right?
Sure.
And Bloodborne did so much work for Sony for the PlayStation 4. I feel like even though not many people bought it, the people like the trend setters and the people who are going to sell PS4s to like the influencers, they look at that game and it's a game of clout. And you have to have these kinds of like tentpole games like Metroid. You should have done everything in your power possible to ensure that game was going to be amazing. You should have spent extra money on it.
Yeah.
You should have like bent over backwards.
You shouldn't have hoarded out to 2 different developers.
Because like if this game comes out and it sucks as hard as that trailer we just watched suggests that it's going to suck.
Yeah.
That's
missed
what's
opportunity.
Well, that's the only thing that can possibly kill your diehard Nintendo fanboy like us.
Yeah.
Is you take our favorite series and you just release just a really bad game, inexcusably bad. And like we don't know, we haven't played Metroid.
I mean, they survived Other M, right? Has there even been like they made Dread after Other M, and Dread was really good, but. Like, it survived that. I mean, I guess it would survive another one, but...
They had the Metroid 2 remake.
That doesn't really matter. That was a 3DS game that not many people care about.
I'm not talking about a series surviving. I'm sure that they're going to keep releasing IP for Metroid. I'm just talking about...
You mean the clout?
Goodwill.
Like, it's not going to be a cool series to be into if they keep putting out bad games.
Exactly. You're just going to
We've already kind of seen this with Zelda. I feel like Zelda's less cool right now because of like Echoes of Wisdom. Like that was a big fart. Nobody cared about that.
I think Zelda is like immune to that. I don't
What's funny is they've actually shown restraint with Zelda as opposed to like the 2000s and 2010s. We were getting a Zelda game every year for like the 2000s and the 2010s.
Yeah. Almost. Well, it's funny too because like I became a Zelda fan basically when Skyward Sword came out. And so all I know is big, long gaps between Zelda games.
Well, I mean, even then, it was almost every year. It was like Skyward Sword 2011, 2012/13 was Link Between Worlds, Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD was a couple of years after that. Triforce Heroes is in there. A lot of just like smaller, like filler gap games. Came out.
But I'm sensing a lot of short-term plays from Nintendo, and I feel like they're building up a lot of bad will, and I think they're burning a lot of people. And I think that like unless something changes, they're on a downward trajectory, and like they might be Nintendoomed, Jason, as they say.
I don't know what that means. I think Nintendo will be fine, but we do see some early indicators, such as like Nintendo Land's channel or like any Nintendo YouTuber not doing as well, just because there's not as much buzz around Nintendo as there once was, which the Switch was kind of like a lightning in the bottle thing, which we might not live to ever see them recapture anything like that ever again.
Maybe not.
It just probably won't happen. And I think we just need to accept that, and then there's like a new normal. It's kind of like everything is wrestling. The Red Cow guest said that. I wish I could remember his name. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I'm going to get raked over the coals for that, but I don't remember who said that. But he's just like, everything is wrestling. And it's like, yeah, basically like every life lesson or like everything about the entertainment industry you can bring back to wrestling. And this is how I'm going to bring it back. Wrestling had a big spike in like the late 90s, early 2000s, where by like view count and like numbers wise, it's never ever going to be anywhere close to as popular as it was then. Mm-hmm. And they tried for the years after to just try and like rehash what they did then to try and get back to that magic, but you can't do it.
Yeah.
It can't happen again. The set of circumstances that were in place for it to happen then will never happen again. And I think the same thing could be said about Nintendo around when the Switch came out. Mm-hmm. You can only be the first like huge innovative, hybrid console with a big dick Zelda. Like, hey, Zelda's back. And Zelda, the last like big Zelda game was 6 years ago, and a lot of people didn't like it, and it didn't matter, and it was a flop. Like, say what you want about Skyward Sword, like both sales wise and cultural wise, and just it didn't live up to the other Zelda games in that way. Even if you like it, you can admit that. And then this was back. It's like, damn. It's like, yeah, Zelda's awesome again, and there's a new Nintendo system that everybody loves and wants, and it's just, you can't have that happen again.
Well, another sad thing, looking even further into the future, is we've had a few joke segments on here about Nintendo Switch 3 News Watch, and but the funny thing is that there was news, and the news was that it looked like Intel had secured the bid for being the next chip for the Nintendo Switch 3, as they were saying. But what's the concerning part about that is obvious, and it's that like, are we really going to do Nintendo Switch 3? Yeah. Like, is it just the Switch forever? Because if the hype is already totally dead on the Switch 2. It's just, you know what, like, because I was way more positive before the Switch 2 came out, and you were like, this is a what a second death.
Yeah. That was what I said. You were
spot on, because no one cares. Looking back, you were absolutely spot on. No one cares. It's unbelievably boring. I forget that I'm even playing a different system other than like the resolution frame rate. And if you're telling me that like this game key card thing is going to get worse, you're going to keep charging more and more money, you're going to gouge me, and then at the end of the tunnel is another Switch, Nintendoomed.
A little bit. Though I do think the next Nintendo Switch will probably do well enough to keep a huge company afloat, and like they're going to be making profits. Like,
sure. But
I don't think there's going to be Year of Luigi's on their horizon where they just lose like $100 million or whatever they lost.
Yeah, so. Sakurai is getting older. He's not going to be at Nintendo forever.
He can't save him forever. Like Saban can't save Alabama. Sakurai can't always save Nintendo.
Yeah, Sakurai can't always save Nintendo. Well, Miyamoto
but Miyamoto will die, and he's actually holding Nintendo back, so everything's going to get better.
Yeah, no, he's not even touching the games anymore. Anyway,
idiots.
But then also like your other guys, your Tezukas, even the people who used to be like the new blood, like Koizumi. Yeah. He will exit the company eventually. And
what is the phenomenon called where in a monarchy, this just happened with the UK, where the queen died at like 90, so her son becomes the king at like 70, but the queen became the queen at like 15.
Yeah.
There's a term for this. I don't know what it is, but there's a term for this. I feel like Nintendo might be going through something like this soon, because the guys on top have been on top since the early 80s.
Yeah.
the next round of guys are probably only like 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I just feel like we're in for a weird time. We're not going to have a Miyamoto ever again. There's not going to be like a monolithic.
You can't have a second Miyamoto.
But there's not going to be a second to any of these guys. Like, it's going to be a revolving door of faces at the top of Nintendo and leading these games for a long time. Because that's just the way the corporate structure works, and it takes time to build up the ladder that way.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder if, like, how much longer this is still going to be a recognizable, like, version or iteration of Nintendo.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is it's like, if the faces keep changing, that like it's gonna lose that, because Nintendo's had the same creative heads for such a long time.
Yeah,
we're gonna enter an era where it's a revolving door, relatively speaking.
Yeah, and at that point, I think that you risk losing the magic. And if these practices that they're doing right now continue, Nintendo might find itself in something that many people might think is unimaginable. They might find themselves in a Sega type position.
Well, I don't know about that. Yeah. Sega was pretty shittily run, even when they were doing well. Like,
that's true that Nintendo is a much better managed company. Yeah.
Have you ever like read the leaked Sega document from 1995?
No.
That's one of my favorite like leaked things ever. It's really cool. Maybe we should go through it in a segment sometime.
That'd be a great segment. I'd love to go through that with you.
It's really interesting, and it shows that even when Sega was doing well, they were fucking up big time.
Yeah.
So,
does it talk about the Saturn?
Yeah, it was like the Saturn had just came out. Yeah, the 32X, and there's a lot of, well, because what it is it's basically just like some guy saved his work folder for like a whole year, and the whole thing got leaked. So it is a collection of like almost an entire year's worth of just like, I don't know, meeting notes, random emails he got, like random just like shit he had from like work, like numbers, figures, statistics about how the business is doing. It's really interesting. I think it's really interesting anyway. And it shows basically that they had they overproduced the Genesis by a shit ton. They overproduced everything basically. Because they thought that I don't know if this is a part of the segment. Oh, whatever. We go on tangents all the time. So basically, it's like the Sega Genesis like heated up. It came out in '89 in America, and it heated up over like '90 and '91. And then '92, it like hit really big. Like it sold, I don't know what the number is, but let's say it sold 10 million in that year. And then the next year it sold like 12 million. And then the next year it sold like 13 million. And they're like, all right, this is our new normal. Let's ramp everything to that. But then it downturned in like 94. It was like, oh, it only went down to like 7 million, but they still produced like it was going to sell 12 million. And then the next year was a little worse. And then like 95 was worse than that. It was like it sold like only 4 million that year, but they still produced like 12 million. So they overproduced basically every product they had, and they had so much unsold shit, and they're just like talking about ways that they could maybe get rid of it somehow. That it was they had to like penny every. Eventually, what they did is in like 1998 or 9, they sold everything to Majesco, all their unsold Genesis bullshit, for probably nothing on the dollar, like a penny on the dollar. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if
was doomed.
I don't know if Nintendo is going down that road, but
no, it'll be a long and slow road for them, and obviously there's plenty of room for change. I thought it would be fun to talk about, like, everyone talked about Nintendoomed when they seem to be obviously doing poorly, but now that they seem to be, I mean, the stock price is really high, they seem to be doing really well. I thought it would be funny to kind of look and observe what possible signs might there be for Nintendo actually being doomed still.
Sure.
And you know what? It was fun. I had fun.
Okay. Yeah, I had fun too.
And I do think another piece to take away from it is I think that they would benefit from a leadership change. I don't think one's coming anytime soon. I don't think their CEO is a good fit. Yeah. So, and we definitely need to change it. Nintendo of America. No one likes Doug Bowser.
Well, I don't know what he does. It seems like he does a lot less than what Reggie did. Like,
Bring back Reggie.
They reduced the role. I guess. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe behind the scenes he does more than ever, but at least he's not a public-facing guy like Reggie was, because he was also a spokesman for the company. He doubled as that.
Yeah,
and they were on that early. Like as soon as they hired him, they're like, all right, at E3, you're going to be front center.
Yeah,
you're
guy
doing
was
the
popular.
presentation. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, even when he was new. So they knew they had, like, a charismatic guy there that they wanted to have in front of the public.
Mm-hmm. Like, Nintendo's the Disney of video games, and they'll be successful for a long time to come in all likelihood.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, this current iteration of Disney, everyone kind of hates, myself included. So maybe I'll hate Nintendo in 15 years. I don't know. Or that version. I will forever love the Nintendo of, like, Iwata and Yamaguchi. Or wait, was that it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Shell
Shell Pedantic,
Pedantic,
everybody. Leave your dislikes below.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.